The Mariana Trench had always kept its secrets well, but Dr. Emily Richardson wasn't known for taking no for an answer. Standing on the bridge of the research vessel, Nautilus Prime, she watched as millions of dollars worth of sonar equipment suddenly went dark. Red warning lights flashed across the command console, reflecting off the concerned faces of her crew. "All systems are dead," Dr. Richardson reported Marcus, her chief technical officer. "It's like something just switched them off." His fingers danced across the keyboard, but the screens remained stubbornly black. Emily pushed her auburn hair back from her face, her mind racing through possibilities. This was the deepest they'd ever taken the experimental mapping equipment, but nothing in their simulations had predicted a total system failure. She'd spent 5 years convincing the National Deep Ocean Research Institute to fund this expedition, and she wasn't about to let a technical glitch end it. "Switch to the backup systems," she ordered, ignoring the skeptical looks from her team. The backup sonar was practically ancient technology compared to their primary system, but it had one advantage: simplicity. Dr. Richardson, Commander Hayes stepped forward, his weathered face creased with concern. "Protocol dictates we surface when we lose primary systems. We're too deep to risk." "Protocol didn't account for what we might find down here," Emily cut him off, her green eyes fixed on the depths below. "Something knocked out our equipment, Commander. Don't you want to know what?" The backup systems hummed to life, their familiar ping echoing through the ship's hull. The first readings were unremarkable, just the expected topography of the ocean floor. Then something changed. The regular pattern of peaks and valleys disappeared, replaced by something impossibly geometric. "That can't be right," Marcus whispered, adjusting the settings. "These readings suggest a perfectly smooth surface, about 200 meters long. At this depth, that's impossible," Emily finished, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Unless it's not natural." The next hour was a blur of activity. The Nautilus Prime's deep-sea drones were deployed, their cameras penetrating the absolute darkness with powerful LED arrays. The first images made Emily's heart race. A massive structure of dark metal, partially buried in the sediment. Its surface was scared and pitted, but the design was unmistakably artificial. "My God," Commander Hayes breathed, leaning closer to the screens. "Is that what I think it is?" Emily was already running preliminary analyses. Structure is approximately 230 meters in length, composed of... She paused, frowning at the readings. "This can't be right." Marcus ran a spectral analysis on the hull composition. The results confirmed her impossible first reading. Among the exotic alloys and unknown elements, there were traces of materials they recognized. Steel alloys that matched the composition of metals first forged on Earth centuries ago. Dr. Richardson, her materials specialist, called out, "You need to see this. We're detecting organic compounds in some of the exposed sections. They're preserved. And they're not from Earth." Emily felt a shiver run down her spine that had nothing to do with the ship's cold air conditioning. They hadn't just found evidence of alien life. They'd found proof that extraterrestrial visitors had been incorporating Earth's technology into their own, long before humans had even dreamed of space travel. "Send word to the surface," she ordered, her voice steadied despite her racing heart. "Tell them we found something that changes everything. And get me a secure line to the Joint Chiefs. They're going to want to hear about this directly." As her team scrambled to comply, Emily stood at the viewport, staring down into the darkness where she knew the ancient vessel waited. Whatever secrets it held, whatever story it had to tell, one thing was certain. Humanity's understanding of its place in the universe was about to be completely rewritten. She just hoped they were ready for what they were about to learn. 3 weeks after the discovery, the Nautilus Prime had transformed from a research vessel into the center of a floating international city. Military ships from 5 nations formed a protective ring around the site, while a steady stream of submarines ferried the world's top scientists to and from the wreckage. Dr. Emily Richardson stood in the newly constructed analysis lab, surrounded by holographic projections of the alien vessel's architecture. Dark circles under her eyes betrayed countless sleepless nights, but her enthusiasm hadn't dimmed. While other scientists argued over the advanced propulsion systems and exotic materials, something else had caught her attention. "Look at this section here." She pointed to a particular area of the hull, addressing Dr. James Kumar, a metallurgist from MIT. "The original alloy is clearly their technology, but these repairs—" She zoomed in on a patchwork of different metals. "Primitive work," Kumar dismissed, adjusting his glasses. "Probably emergency repairs made after whatever damaged the ship." "Primitive, yes," Emily agreed, a hint of excitement in her voice. "But look at the dating analysis. These repairs were made at different times, some of them centuries apart. The oldest ones date back to the 1700s. Kumar's eyes widened as he processed the implications. "That's impossible. We would have noticed a massive alien ship making repairs in our oceans. Unless they didn't want to be noticed." Emily pulled up another hologram, this one showing the ship's sophisticated camouflage systems. "They weren't just hiding here. They were studying us, learning from us. Look at how they integrated Earth metals into their own technology." The lab door hissed open as Commander Hayes entered, accompanied by a stern-looking woman in a dark suit. "Dr. Richardson, this is Director Sarah Montgomery from Naval Intelligence. She needs to see what you found." Emily didn't miss the tension in Hayes's voice. She'd known the military would take a greater interest once they realized the true scope of their discovery. "Director, you're just in time. We've made a breakthrough in understanding why this ship is here." "Have you decrypted their computer systems?" Montgomery asked, getting straight to the point. "Better." Emily activated a sequence of holograms showing the ship's repair history. "We found evidence that these aliens were doing more than observing Earth. They were actively incorporating our technology into their systems. But here's the fascinating part. They weren't doing it because their technology was superior. They were doing it because they needed something only we could provide." She brought up a detailed analysis of one repair section. "See these patterns? They used Earth metals in ways that completely defied their own engineering principles. It's like they were desperate to make their technology less predictable." Montgomery's professional demeanor cracked slightly. "Less predictable? Why would an advanced civilization want to make their technology more primitive?" "Because they were running from something." Emily pulled up her final piece of evidence, a partially decoded message found in the ship's database. The holographic alien text swirled before resolving into English. "Pattern breakers required. Earth solution unique. Must preserve. We've only decoded fragments," Emily continued, "but it's clear they found something in human innovation that they needed. Our primitive approach to technology wasn't primitive at all. It was fundamentally different from anything they'd encountered." Before she could elaborate, alarms blared throughout the lab. Commander Hayes rushed to a communication terminal. "We're picking up energy signatures from the wreck," he reported, his voice tense. "Something's activating." The holograms flickered and died, replaced by a new projection emanating directly from the alien ship below. The image showed a star map, with hundreds of points of light being systematically extinguished, spreading like a wave across the galaxy. At its edge, a single point pulsed brightly. "Earth." "It's not just a message," Emily whispered, watching the pattern repeat. "It's a warning." Director Montgomery was already on her secure phone. "Get me the Joint Chiefs. Now." She turned to Emily, her expression grave. "Dr. Richardson, I think it's time you told me everything you know about these repairs. Why would advanced aliens need our chaotic, primitive technology?" Emily stared at the star map, watching worlds blink out of existence. "Because whatever they were running from," she answered, "it could predict and counter any logical, advanced technology it encountered. But human innovation, that's anything but logical." The warning message pulsed again, casting an eerie red glow across the lab's occupants. The hunt for answers had just become a race against time. The emergency klaxons wailed throughout the Nautilus Prime as Dr. Emily Richardson raced down the cramped corridor toward the submersible bay. Behind her, Director Montgomery barked orders into her satellite phone, while Commander Hayes coordinated the evacuation of non-essential personnel. The energy signature from the wreck is still climbing, Marcus reported through her earpiece. Whatever's powering up down there, it's drawing more energy than a small city. Emily grabbed her gear from her locker, hands moving with practiced efficiency. Status of Mini Sub 2. Prepped and ready. But Dr. Richardson, the radiation levels are within acceptable limits. She cut him off, zipping up her pressure suit. If we don't get down there now, we might lose our only chance to understand what we're dealing with. Director Montgomery caught up with her at the submersible's hatch. You have 15 minutes. After that, we're initiating containment protocols. The unspoken threat was clear. They'd sink the site if they had to. The descent seemed to take forever. Emily watched through the reinforced viewport as emergency lights from other research vessels pierced the darkness. The alien ship below pulsed with an inner light that shouldn't have been possible after centuries underwater. 300 meters, the pilot announced. Ma'am, you're not going to believe this. The ship, it's changing. Emily pressed against the glass. The vessel's skirt hull was shifting, sections realigning themselves like a massive puzzle. As they watched, an opening appeared, spilling light into the abyssal darkness. It's not an attack, Emily realized, checking her instruments. It's an invitation. The submersible's radio crackled. Dr. Richardson, abort mission immediately. Those energy readings air. Static consumed the rest of the message. Emily made a decision that would change human history. Take us in. The submersible slipped through the opening into a pressurized chamber. As the water drained away, Emily felt her heart pounding. Years of scientific training hadn't prepared her for this moment. Atmosphere is breathable, the pilot reported, sounding surprised. Temperature 18 degrees Celsius. It's like it was waiting for us. They found the first body just outside the airlock. Not a corpse, a hologram flickering and distorted but undeniably alien. Its form was humanoid but wrong in subtle ways that made Emily's mind struggle to process what she was seeing. The hologram spoke, its words translated in real time by algorithms that had been processing the ship's language for weeks. If you are receiving this, you have proven yourselves ready. We hoped this day would come, though we feared it might come too late. The corridor had lit up, leading them deeper into the ship. More holograms appeared, showing scenes of devastation. Entire worlds transformed into geometric patterns, civilizations reduced to perfectly ordered structures that defied organic life. They came from beyond the galaxy's edge. The original hologram continued, following them. We called them the Conformity. They seek to impose perfect order on all they encounter. Their technology evolves constantly, adapting to and absorbing any advancement they find. But they can only adapt to what they can understand. The final chamber contained what looked like a control center. On its walls, displays showed the same star map they'd seen earlier, but now with terrifying clarity. The wave of extinction was no mere warning. It was a record of actual events. Your species evolves technology in ways we cannot comprehend, the hologram explained. You combine unrelated concepts, make intuitive leaps that defy logic. Each of your innovations is unique, unpredictable. We discovered this by studying your progress, by incorporating your metals and methods into our repairs. The Conformity cannot adapt to what it cannot predict. Emily touched one of the displays, and it responded to her human DNA. New information flooded the screens, detailed analyses of Earth's technological development, but from an alien perspective. They had been watching humanity's chaotic progress with growing hope. But now they have sensed us. The hologram's voice took on an urgent tone. Our attempt to preserve your knowledge has drawn their attention. They come. The ship shuddered, and new warnings flashed across every screen. The hologram flickered, its final words burning themselves into Emily's mind. You have what they cannot defeat, the power to create the unprecedented. Use it well. Earth's chaos is the galaxy's last hope. Behind her, the pilot's voice shook. Dr. Richardson, we got multiple objects just appeared in the Kuiper Belt. They're moving fast. Toward Earth. The race to save humanity had begun. The Joint Chiefs sat in stunned silence as they watched Dr. Emily Richardson's submersible footage. The Pentagon's secure briefing room, typically filled with strategic discussions and military planning, now hosted the most important scientific presentation in human history. 72 hours, Emily concluded, stopping the footage at the alien hologram's final warning. That's how long we have before the first conformity scouts reach our solar system. We need to understand our advantage, and we need to understand it now. General Marcus Blackwood, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, leaned forward. Dr. Richardson, you're suggesting we abandon our advanced weapon systems in favor of, what exactly? Duct tape and paper clips. Emily pulled up a new display, showing side-by-side comparisons of human and alien technology development. Look at how they progress. Perfect, logical steps. A leads to B leads to C. But here's how humans do it. She switched to a chaotic web of interconnected innovations. We jump from A to M, combine it with Q, and somehow end up with something completely new. It's not about being primitive. It's about being unpredictable. Theory is great, Doctor, Director Montgomery interjected. But we need practical applications. Emily smiled for the first time since the warning. I've already assembled a team. Show them. She nodded to her assistant, who distributed tablets to everyone present. The screens displayed profiles of Earth's most unconventional inventors and engineers. Meet Sarah Collins. She developed a revolutionary water filtration system by combining coffee maker parts with mushroom spores. James Chen, who created a new type of solar cell by studying butterfly wings and old TV antennas. Maria Rodriguez, whose team accidentally invented a new form of quantum encryption while trying to improve pizza delivery tracking. The room stirred with murmurs as Emily continued. These people represent humanity's greatest strength, our ability to make connections that no logical system would ever consider. The conformity can adapt to logical progression, but they can't handle human chaos. She brought up footage from her university's engineering lab. We tested this theory. We fed the alien ship's computer 2 sets of human innovations. The first followed logical progression. It adapted instantly. The second, she played a video showing the alien system struggling to process a seemingly simple human invention. It couldn't handle the combination of a microwave magnetron with old radio parts and a repurposed GPS module. The logic was too chaotic. General Blackwood stood, pacing the room. So what's your proposal? We gather the world's most innovative minds, not just scientists, but inventors, hackers, makers, anyone who looks at problems differently. We give them access to both human and alien technology, and we let them do what humans do best, create the impossible. The room erupted in debate, but Emily wasn't finished. She played one final piece of footage, a test where they combined Earth's primitive missile guidance systems with alien power cores in ways that defied conventional engineering. The resulting weapon moved in patterns that even their most advanced predictive systems couldn't track. The aliens didn't hide their ship here just to study us, Emily revealed. They were trying to learn our chaos. Every repair they made with Earth metals made their ship harder for the conformity to predict. They were evolving their technology to be more like ours. Director Montgomery, who had been quietly contemplating, finally spoke. How do we weaponize unpredictability? We don't, Emily answered. We embrace it. I've identified 300 potential innovation sites worldwide. Makerspaces, research labs, even garage workshops where people are already combining technologies in ways that shouldn't work but do. We need to connect them, fund them, and let them create without limitations. She displayed a final image, A simple photograph of a teenage girl in India who had built a working quantum sensor from discarded smartphones and homemade circuits. This is what the conformity can't handle. Not our most advanced technology, but our most unexpected combinations. Every garage inventor, every midnight tinkerer, every person who looks at unrelated pieces and sees new possibilities. They're our real defense force. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity's greatest weakness, our messy, illogical approach to innovation, was about to become our greatest strength. General Blackwood made the call. "You have full authorization, Dr. Richardson. God help us, we're betting the planet on human chaos." Emily nodded, already reaching for her phone. They had 3 days to unleash humanity's creative potential against the most advanced threat the galaxy had ever seen. She couldn't wait to get started. The International Space Station's new quantum sensors lit up like a Christmas tree. Dr. Emily Richardson watched the feed from the hastily assembled Global Defense Center, formerly the Miami Convention Center. Around her, hundreds of screens showed real-time data from the most improbable collection of detection systems ever assembled. "Contact confirmed," announced Flight Director Chen from NASA. Multiple objects just crossed Neptune's orbit. They're rewriting space as they move. Emily studied the sensor readings. The conformity vessels didn't so much travel through space as they reorganized it, leaving perfectly geometric patterns in their wake. Behind her, Maria Rodriguez, the quantum encryption expert from the pizza delivery breakthrough, pointed to an anomaly in the data. "Look at that pattern recognition failure," Maria said, excitement in her voice. "They tried to scan our defensive grid and couldn't make sense of it. The combination of old TV satellite networks with quantum sensors is too chaotic for them to process." It had been the busiest 72 hours in human history. Emily's call for unconventional innovation had sparked a global creative fever. Garage inventors worked alongside PhD scientists, combining technologies in ways that made traditional engineers cringe. "Status update," Emily called out to the room. "Show me what we've got." The main screen split into sections, each showing a different defense project. In India, they'd converted the entire mobile phone network into a distributed quantum computing grid. Australian Aboriginal technicians had combined their ancient understanding of electromagnetic field lines with modern superconductors, creating a detection system that worked on principles even human scientists couldn't fully explain. Dr. Richardson. James Chen rushed in, tablet in hand. The garage team in Detroit just successfully tested their hybrid weapon system. They combined old muscle car engines with alien power cores. The energy signature is completely random, no pattern for the enemy to analyze. Emily allowed herself a small smile. This was humanity at its finest. Messy, chaotic, brilliant. The conformity wouldn't know what hit them. A new alert blared through the center. The primary screen showed a massive energy surge near Jupiter. One of the alien scouts had just attempted to assimilate a defended research station on Europa. The footage that followed caused the room to erupt in cheers. The station's defenses, cobbled together from ice mining equipment, repurposed video game consoles, and fragments of alien tech, had created an energy field so unpredictable that the conformity ship's attempts to analyze it had caused its systems to crash. The geometric perfection of its hull had crumbled into chaos. "That's the proof of concept we needed," Emily announced, her voice carrying across the now silent room. "Their weakness isn't our primitive technology. It's their inability to handle unexpected combinations. Every time they try to adapt to one of our innovations, we're already combining it with something else in ways they can't predict." Director Montgomery strode in, her usual composed demeanor showing cracks of actual emotion. "Dr. Richardson, we're tracking 37 major conformity vessels entering the solar system. Their energy signatures suggest they're far more powerful than the Scout we just defeated." Emily nodded, already pulling up new data. "What's the status of Project Chaos?" "Online and ready," Montgomery replied. Though I still think you're insane for putting a 16-year-old in charge of our orbital defense grid. Susie Chen may be 16, Emily countered, but her method of combining social media algorithms with military targeting systems is exactly the kind of chaos we need. The conformity expects perfect military logic. They're about to face Twitter-enhanced weapon systems guided by meme analysis. New alerts flashed across the screens. The conformity fleet had increased speed, their geometric patterns spreading across the solar system like a perfect, deadly web. They're trying to establish a predictable pattern they can control, Emily observed. Too bad we're about to throw every unpredictable combination of human innovation at them at once. She opened a global channel to all defense stations, from high-tech military bases to makeshift garage labs around the world. This is Dr. Richardson. The enemy expects order. Let's show them what human chaos can do. Execute Project Chaos. All stations, release your innovations. Let's get weird. As humanity's improbable defenses sprang to life, Emily watched the enemy approach. For the first time in history, being illogical and unpredictable wasn't just an advantage. It was Earth's only hope for survival. The storm had arrived, and humanity was ready to weather it with everything they had. Logic be damned. The first conformity vessel to reach Mars didn't know what hit it. Literally. Its perfect geometric form encountered something its vast database couldn't classify. A cloud of repurposed space debris guided by modified video game AI, powered by solar panels crafted from recycled soda cans and alien tech. Direct hit. Susie Chen called out from her station at the Global Defense Center. The teenage prodigy's fingers flew across 3 keyboards simultaneously, her gaming headset repurposed with quantum sensors. The meme-enhanced targeting system predicted their evasion pattern with 97% accuracy. Dr. Emily Richardson watched as the conformity ship's perfect crystalline structure began to fragment. They can't adapt to what they can't understand. How's the rest of the defense grid holding? The Australian Dreamtime Pattern Quantum Field is driving their sensors crazy, reported James Chen. They keep trying to analyze it, but the aboriginal elements don't follow any logic they can process. Around the world, humanity's chaotic genius was unleashing hell on the invaders. In Brazil, they turned the Amazon's weather monitoring system into a weapon, using the natural chaos of weather patterns to disrupt enemy formations. Russian hackers had combined Soviet-era radio telescopes with modern quantum computers, creating interference patterns that scrambled conformity communications. "We've got a problem," Director Montgomery announced, her voice tense. "They're adapting to our first wave of innovations. 3 ships just broke through the Mars defense line." Emily had expected this. Initiate Protocol Murphy. Across screens throughout the center, new combinations of technology sprang to life. A network of old cell phones, connected through modified game consoles and powered by hybrid alien-human batteries, began broadcasting signals that made no logical sense, because they weren't meant to. "You were right," Montgomery admitted, watching as the advancing conformity ships struggled to maintain their perfect formations. "They can adapt to any single innovation, but they can't adapt to constant chaos," Emily finished. "Every time they figure out one combination, we're already deploying 3 more that shouldn't work but do." Humanity's greatest strength isn't our advanced technology. It's our ability to make crazy ideas work. The main screen showed a conformity destroyer attempting to analyze a defense satellite. The satellite, cobbled together from old TV broadcasting equipment, kitchen microwave parts, and alien power cores, kept changing its operational patterns randomly based on lottery numbers and cat video popularity metrics. The Detroit team's muscle car-powered fighters are engaging, Susie announced excitedly. The screen showed squadrons of hybrid vehicles, their engines howling with a mix of American V8 power and alien energy, moving in patterns based on decades of street racing techniques that no logical system could predict. A cheer went up as one of the conformity's largest ships, attempting to process too many illogical human innovations at once, began to break apart. Its perfect geometric structure couldn't handle the chaos of Earth's combined creativity. "They're pulling back to regroup," James reported. "Their formation. Wait, something's wrong." The main viewer showed the conformity fleet arranging itself into a new pattern. The remaining ships began to merge, their geometric forms combining into something massive. "They're adapting on a larger scale," Emily realized. "All stations, prepare for Phase 2. Time to show them why you never corner human ingenuity." She opened a channel to all defense stations worldwide. "This is Dr. Richardson. The enemy is combining their ships to create a more powerful form. You know what that means. Time to get even weirder. Activate all backup innovations. Yes, even the ones that sound completely insane, especially those." Around the world, inventors and engineers grinned as they unleashed their craziest ideas. Garage-built quantum drives powered by recycled coffee machines, defense shields running on modified dating app algorithms, weapon systems guided by the chaos theory patterns of butterfly migrations. As the massive combined conformity vessel approached Earth, humanity prepared to demonstrate why being unpredictable was about to become the galaxy's most powerful weapon. "All stations," Emily commanded, a fierce smile on her face. "Unleash hell. And make sure it doesn't make any sense when you do." The battle for Earth was about to enter its most chaotic phase yet, and chaos was humanity's specialty. The combined conformity vessel filled the sky over Earth like a perfect geometric nightmare, its crystalline surface reflecting sunlight in mathematically precise patterns. In the Global Defense Center, Dr. Emily Richardson watched as the massive ship began its final approach. "Size comparison coming in," James announced, his voice tight. "It's roughly the size of Manhattan. Energy readings are, well, they're higher than anything we've ever seen. They're broadcasting something," Susie reported, her gaming headset picking up the transmission. It's laughter. They're actually laughing at our defenses." The alien message boomed through every speaker on Earth. "Your CHAOs is impressive, but futile. We HAVADKED. Your UNPREDIKTA IT as NOWPREDICTED." Emily smiled. "That's exactly what we wanted them to think. Execute final protocol." Around the world, humanity's last-line defenses activated, but not in the way anyone expected. In orbit, satellites suddenly went dark. Defense stations powered down. The quantum grid seemed to collapse. "What's happening?" Director Montgomery demanded. "We're losing everything." "No," Emily corrected. "We're proving why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. We're not just unpredictable in how we combine technology. We're unpredictable in how we fight." The conformity vessel began its attack, geometric patterns of energy reaching down toward Earth's apparently defenseless surface. But as their perfect patterns touched the atmosphere, something impossible happened. "Now," Emily commanded. Every failed defense system suddenly reactivated, but differently. The quantum grid, powered by millions of repurposed cell phones, now ran on algorithms based on cat behavior and teenage mood swings. Orbital platforms, rebuilt with parts from old video game consoles, began firing weapons guided by chaos theory and soap opera plot twists. "They're trying to adapt," Susie reported gleefully. "But each time they counter one pattern, we've already switched to 3 new ones." The Detroit Muscle Car Squadron roared into action, their hybrid engines screaming as they executed maneuvers based on decades of street racing mixed with ballet choreography. In orbit, satellites guided by modified dating app algorithms predicted and countered every perfect geometric attack. The Australian Dream Time Field is interfacing with Indian tech support chat patterns, James called out. "It's creating defense sequences even we can't predict." The massive conformity vessel began to show signs of stress. Its perfect surface rippled as it tried to process and counter the sheer variety of human innovation. Every time it adapted to one form of chaos, humans combine their technologies in 10 new impossible ways. "This is not possible," the alien voice boomed, now showing signs of distortion. "There is no logic to your actions." "Exactly," Emily responded, broadcasting on all frequencies. "That's what makes us human. We don't just think outside the box. We take the box apart, combine it with a toaster and some alien tech, and turn it into something that shouldn't work but does." Around the world, humanity's final wave of innovation unleashed itself. Brazilian carnival rhythms guided missile patterns. Japanese anime fan theories predicted enemy movements. A network of grandmothers knitting patterns somehow created an unbreakable encryption code. The conformity vessel's perfect geometry began to crack. Its attempts to analyze and counter human chaos caused cascading failures throughout its systems. The more it tried to find patterns in human innovation, the more its logical foundations crumbled. "They're doing exactly what we predicted," Emily announced. "They're trying so hard to understand our chaos that they're destroying themselves." The massive ship's surface began to fracture, its perfect patterns dissolving into disorder. As it tried to process the combined chaos of human creativity, its very structure rebelled against its programming. "Final strike," Emily ordered. "Show them why you never try to outthink a species that invented pizza with pineapple." Every remaining piece of human technology, from ancient radio telescopes to quantum computers, from garage-built hybrids to corporate mainframes, activated at once, each operating on principles that defied logic, guided by patterns ranging from stock market trends to butterfly migration paths. The conformity vessel, faced with an overwhelming flood of human chaos, finally reached its breaking point. Its perfect geometric form shattered, unable to maintain order in the face of humanity's glorious disorder. As the threat to Earth literally broke apart trying to understand human innovation, Emily smiled. "And that," she broadcasted to the cheering crowds worldwide, "is why chaos will always beat perfect order." The battle for Earth was ending, and humanity's greatest weakness had just become the galaxy's greatest strength. 1 month after the battle, Dr. Emily Richardson stood in the newly established Galactic Innovation Center, formerly the Global Defense Center. The Miami sunrise filtered through windows still bearing the scorch marks from the final battle, illuminating a room that had changed the course of human history. "Another signal," Susie announced from her station, now upgraded with a mix of alien tech and her favorite gaming gear. "Third one this week. More survivors of the conformity's attacks, asking for asylum and technical consultation." Emily smiled. The victory over the conformity had sent ripples across the galaxy. The species that had hidden from the geometric nightmare were emerging, and they all wanted to learn the same thing: how to think like humans. "Put them through on the main screen," Emily instructed. The display flickered to life, showing an alien delegation whose perfectly symmetrical technology was already showing signs of human influence, deliberate imperfections and chaotic combinations that would have been unthinkable months ago. "We seek the wisdom of Earth," the alien ambassador announced. "Our civilization spent millennia pursuing perfect technological progression. We now understand this was our greatest weakness." Director Montgomery, now serving as Earth's first Galactic Defense Coordinator, stepped forward. "And what exactly do you hope to learn from us?" "How to embrace chaos," the ambassador replied. "How to combine technologies in ways that defy logic yet achieve remarkable results. We have observed your garage inventors and midnight tinkerers. We wish to understand this creativity." Emily watched as James led a group of alien scientists through the center's main workshop. They stopped, fascinated, as a teenager demonstrated how she'd combined an old microwave, 3 smartphones, and salvaged alien tech to create a device that could fold space-time just enough to keep coffee at the perfect temperature. "They're still struggling with the concept," James reported later in Emily's office, now decorated with pieces of the original alien wreck that had started everything. "They understand the technical principles, But the idea of combining technologies for purposes they weren't designed for, it's like teaching fish about fire. They'll learn, Emily replied, examining a holographic display of the galaxy. Points of light showed where human innovation teams were already helping other civilizations break free from rigid technological thinking. The conformity did us a favor, in a way. They forced the galaxy to recognize that perfect order isn't the answer. Evolution needs chaos to thrive. A commotion outside drew their attention. In the main hall, Maria Rodriguez was teaching a group of alien engineers the concept of winging it by having them modify their equipment without planning ahead. The looks of horror on their faces as she encouraged random modifications were priceless. Latest report from Detroit. Director Montgomery announced, entering the office. The Muscle Car Squadron is now training alien pilots. Apparently, they're having trouble grasping the concept of, if it looks stupid but works, it ain't stupid. Emily laughed. How are they handling the concept of hot-rodding ancient technology? Poorly. The idea of deliberately modifying perfect systems to make them cooler is causing some existential crisis. The main screen lit up with another incoming transmission. This time, it was from the Australian outback, where Aboriginal technicians were teaching alien scientists how dreamtime patterns could influence quantum fields. The aliens' attempts to find logical explanations for why it worked were giving their analytical systems fits. We're getting requests from 17 different civilizations to establish innovation exchanges, Shuzi reported. They want to send their brightest minds to learn human creativity, and they're offering their advanced technology in return. Emily walked to the window, watching the sunrise over a changed Earth. Alien ships now shared the sky with human aircraft, their once perfect geometric forms now sporting modifications that would have been considered heretical months ago. In garages and workshops around the world, humans were teaching the galaxy how to think differently. You know what this means, she said to the room. Humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy isn't our technology. It's our creativity, our chaos, our ability to look at the impossible and say, "Hold my beer." As if to prove her point, a teenage inventor somewhere in Nebraska had just combined alien quantum technology with an old game console and accidentally created a device that could translate cat meows. It made no logical sense, but it worked. And that, Emily realized, was humanity's real gift to the stars. The courage to try the impossible, the creativity to make it work, and the wisdom to know that sometimes the best solutions are the ones that break all the rules. The age of human innovation had begun. The galaxy would never be the same.